Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we take a stack of sources, developer manifestos, and maybe some dusty old forum posts and turn them into instant expertise. Today, we are strapping on our hero boots, maybe kicking a chicken or two, and tackling a classic. We're addressing the central paradox of a game that really dared to promise everything. Fable. The Lost Chapters.
Yeah, Fable. When it first arrived, originally for the Xbox back in 2005, developed by Lionhead Big Blue Box, well, it wasn't just launching a fantasy world, it was launching an idea.
An idea about choice.
Exactly. The core fantasy was this unprecedented level of player choice. A truly, quote, living world where every single action, every calorie burned, every combat decision was meant to physically and morally mold your hero.
And not just the hero, right?
Yeah.
The world itself, Albion, was supposed to react. Your reputation. Everything.
That was the dream. And that's the core tension we really need to unpack here. Our mission today is to explore how Fable actually delivered on that fantasy, becoming this legendary hero or maybe a notorious villain.
And more critically, to have a meaningful conversation about whether its much talked about choices ultimately held real, lasting consequence. Were the stakes actually high, or was it all, well, a bit of an illusion?
It's a great question because the stakes felt incredibly high, partly because of the promises made. We're looking at this world of grand fantasy, yes, but also a surprising amount of zany, cartoonish British humor.
Right.
And perhaps most importantly, this set of development promises that set an almost impossibly high bar. It really colored the whole perception of the game when it finally came out.
So we're measuring that magnificent vision against what actually shipped.
Absolutely. And when you talk about high-stakes visions in Fable, you absolutely have to start with Peter Molyneux, the founder of Lionhead Studios.
Ah, yes. Famous, maybe infamous, depending on who you ask, for his enthusiasm, his vision.
Exactly. His passion for the game was undeniable. But it often led him to publicly commit to ideas, features that maybe weren't quite feasible with the tech back in 2005.
This wasn't always an Xbox game, though, right? It started somewhere else.
That's right. It had a longer history. Development began around 2001, I think, under working titles like Project Ego, Wish World, even Godslayer at one point. It was originally meant for the Sega Dreamcast.
Wow, Dreamcast. Okay.
Yeah, so it already carried this weight of being a sort of next-generation concept, even back then.
And then Sega pulled the plug on the Dreamcast.
Right. So the project transitioned to the original Xbox. Lionhead got Microsoft's backing, which is huge. But those early years, plus the really high-profile, shall we say, aggressive marketing,
Created massive expectations.
huge. People expected this seamless, totally reactive RPG experience that would blow everything else out of the water.
Which inevitably leads to disappointment, when reality doesn't quite match the hype.
Yeah, the fallout was pretty significant among some of the more hardcore fans.
Right.
That gap between the promised living world and the final game, it caused a stir.
Did Molyneux ever address that?
He did, yeah. To his credit, he actually posted an apology on the official community forum after the release. He addressed the controversy head-on.
What did he say?
He basically acknowledged that, ambitious ideas often get altered, redesigned, or dropped during the actual engineering process, which is true, of course. But for a lot of players, the initial promises had just set the stakes way too high.
So let's get specific. Let's unpack some of those missing pieces, those lost chapters of development. What were some of the big things that didn't make it in that would have really changed the game?
Oh, there were quite a few big ones. The whole dynamism of the world was meant to be much deeper. Take the dynamic appearance system, for example.
We got the morphing based on XP, right? Strength, skill, will.
We did, and that was cool. But the original plan was way more involved. They talked about muscle atrophy, like your hero would actually lose muscle mass if they stopped fighting or exercising.
Seriously?
Yeah. And conversely, get super ripped with constant combat. They even talked about tanning in the sun or getting pale if you spent too long underground or only came out at night.
Wow. That's a level of detail that really screams, this is your unique character.
It really does. Vanity having actual visual, even maybe mechanical consequences.
Yeah.
But maybe the most radical cuts were the time-based elements.
Like aging.
Yeah, the character was supposed to age naturally over time, not just when you leveled up an ability, but actually get older. And stress was meant to affect how quickly you aged.
We saw some of that aging in the sequels, Fable 2 especially, but in the original, that was cut.
Mostly, yeah. The level up aging remained, but not the real-time aspect. And it wasn't just the character, the environment was supposed to age too. Tree growth was meant to happen in real time.
Wait, real-time tree growth, like plant a seed and come back years later.
That was the idea. Imagine planting an acorn or carving your initials into a sapling and then returning, maybe years later in real-world time, potentially, to find this huge, mature tree.
That sounds technically ambitious for 2005.
Oh, massively ambitious.
Yeah.
Probably impossible back then. But it shows the scale of the initial vision, right? A truly persistent world.
What else got the axe?
Well, the lack of robust family development was a big one for many people. Fable 2 brought it in, but the original promise was you could have kids, and they'd grow up, live their own lives in Albion.
That would have added a whole different layer.
Definitely. Then you look at systems that got scaled back or, well, kind of gutted. The crime system, for instance.
Yes, the promise of actual consequences for being bad.
They talked about a full system with actual prison time. You might have to serve your sentence, maybe even stage a jailbreak. What we actually got, well, we'll get into that, but it was much simpler.
And other things. Guilds, multiplayer.
Yep. Multiple guilds were planned, but it ended up being just the main hero guild. The multiplayer split-screen idea got downgraded significantly.
Yeah.
Other players would just be these sort of ghostly spirit helpers for player one.
Not quite the co-op adventure some hoped for.
Not really.
Yeah.
And then there was this one narrative promise, the highest stakes one, maybe. The one that, if it had been kept, would have made every side quest feel incredibly tense.
Okay, what was it?
There was this alleged weird element, the idea that if you took too long focusing on side stuff and didn't advance the main story quickly enough, your family would be killed.
Whoa. Seriously?
That was the rumor, tied to Molyneux's comments. Imagine that pressure, constantly weighing exploration against the potential permanent loss of your family. Cutting that fundamentally lowered the narrative stakes, made it feel safer to just wander off.
Yeah, that changes everything. Any other weird myths?
Oh, definitely the famous ones that became kind of in-jokes. The sand goose.
Haha, yes! The giant talking desert bird.
Exactly. Rumored to be the size of a house, speak languages. Turned out to be, well, not real, though they did reference it later in the Lost Chapters. And the singing sword myth, too.
So a lot of ambition, a lot of promises.
Yeah.
Creating this huge gap makes you really look closely at what did make it in.
Definitely. But despite all those cuts, one area where Fable absolutely nailed it, where really succeeded in raising the stakes and creating that memorable feedback loop, was making the consequences visible right there on your hero's body.
Right, the personalized stakes. It wasn't just numbers on a sheet. You saw the changes.
Exactly. It turned abstract stats into tangible aesthetic choices.
Yeah.
If you poured your XP from melee combat, the red XP, into strength.
You got huge, like ridiculously muscular.
Yeah, often cartoonishly jacked, you visibly bulked up.
Right.
But if you focused on skill XP, the yellow XP from ranged combat.
You got taller.
Noticeably taller, yeah. Which actually felt kind of cool, literally looking down on the NPCs. Give you a bit of a psychological edge.
And the magic users. The will XP.
The blue XP, yeah. Spending that caused these glowing mystical blue runes to just spontaneously appear all over your hero's body.
So you could end up this towering, muscle-bound giant covered in pulsing magic tattoos.
Pretty much a walking testament to your playstyle.
Yeah.
And that visible commitment to a build or even a hybrid build was just so key to the game's appeal.
But it wasn't just about XP, right? The body reflected other things too. Time, damage.
Right. The aging mechanic, while simplified, was still there. You aged 0.7 years for every ability level up. So if you leveled up really heavily, really fast.
You'd end up looking older. White hair, sagging skin.
Exactly. Your hair would turn white, tattoos would look duller, skin wouldn't be as tight, and trauma was visible too. Battle wounds, like big hits from monsters or tough fights.
They left scars.
Permanent scars, yeah. They lighten up over time, become less prominent, but they never fully disappeared. Little reminders of your hardest battles.
And then, of course, the big one, alignment. Good versus evil.
Oh, yeah. That was super visible. Lean towards good, you'd get this faint halo, maybe some butterflies fluttering around you.
Very angelic.
And if you went full evil,
Yeah.
horns would sprout from your head, your skin might get paler, red eyes sometimes, and you'd have this constant swarm of flies buzzing around you.
Delightful. So your moral choices were literally written all over you for everyone in Albion to see.
Pretty much. NPCs would react differently based on your alignment and your renown, shouting things like chicken chaser. If you were infamous for, well, kicking chickens, or cheering if you were a renowned hero.
Now, achieving those maxed out looks, getting those horns of that halo, getting super tall or jacked, that took a lot of XP, especially for the high-level abilities.
It's a colossal amount, yeah.
Which brings us to how players actually got that much XP. There was a way to kind of break the system, wasn't there? To turbocharge your hero.
Oh, absolutely. You have to talk about the combat multiplier. That is like the single most important mechanic to understand if you want to exploit Fable.
How did it work?
Basically, as you dealt damage without getting hit yourself, this multiplier would go up rapidly. And the crucial thing is this multiplier affected all XP you gained, red, yellow, blue, and the general pool.
So if you got a high multiplier,
Your XP gains went through the roof.
Yeah.
Like if you hit a multiplier of, say, 10 and then earned 100 XP from a kill, you'd actually get 1,000 XP instead.
wow, okay, that's huge. But keeping that multiplier going sounds tough if you're getting hit all the time.
It normally would be. That requires perfect dodging, blocking, unless you used a specific spell, the physical shield spell.
Ah, the will spell, how did that break it?
Here's the exploit. When physical shield is active, you can get hit, take damage, but your combat multiplier doesn't reset.
Wait, really?
Yeah, hitting you only drains your mana instead of breaking the combo chain. So as long as you had a ton of mana potions, which were super cheap and easy to buy, you could just keep the shield up indefinitely.
And keep fighting, keep taking hits, but maintain that massive multiplier.
Exactly. You could sustain a multiplier of 30, 40, maybe even higher through long fights, basically being invincible while racking up insane amounts of XP.
That sounds game-breaking.
It kind of was. And it wasn't just combat XP. Think about items like Potions of Ages. They give a base of 1,000 general XP.
Okay.
Now imagine you get your multiplier up to, say, 40 using the shield trick. Then you drink 1 Potion of Ages.
Uh-oh. That's 40,000 XP, instantly.
Instantly. From 1 potion. So a player who knew about this could become incredibly powerful, tall, jacked, scarred, glowing or whatever, very, very early in the game, completely bypassing the intended progression curve.
So the developers kind of prioritized letting the player feel like a god, even if it meant breaking the balance.
It really seems that way. That immediate gratification, the fun of exploitation, feeling super powerful, that seems to have been a core part of the Fable design philosophy, perhaps even more than strict balance.
Okay, so that feeling of agency, of power, of immediate gratification, it leads us right into the big question about choice in Fable. The morality system, good versus evil. We know the consequences looked cool: horns, halos, flies, but did they actually matter? Did choosing good or evil really change things in a meaningful, mechanical way?
Well, the overwhelming feeling, looking back,
Yeah.
is not really. Not in a deep, systemic way.
So the aesthetics were strong, the NPC reactions were there.
Yeah, people would cheer or scream, call you names or praise you.
Yeah.
That was fun flavor. But the actual stakes of being good or evil, especially when it came to, say, committing crimes, they felt pretty shallow.
Let's dig into that justice system then. Because the promise was for something robust, right? Real consequences.
That was the promise. What we got was, well, kind of trivial. If you committed a crime, theft, vandalism, hitting someone, you'd get a bounty put on your head.
Okay, makes sense.
But here's the thing. That bounty was only tied to the specific town or region where you committed the crime.
Only that one place.
Only that one place. So you had a few options. You could pay the fine, which was often tiny compared to what you could steal.
Right.
If you were good aligned and it was a minor crime like smashing a crate, you could sometimes just use the apologize expression and the guards might forgive you.
Seriously. Sorry I punched you, guard.
Pretty much. But the easiest option, the one that completely broke the system, just run away.
Just leave town.
Yep. Get chased out, cross the map boundary line, and just wait. There's this arbitrary, like, short timer, maybe a couple of minutes tops.
And then?
The bounty just disappeared. Poof! You could then just waltz straight back into town, and the guards who were trying to kill you 2 minutes ago would be like, hello, hero. Like nothing ever happened.
Wow. Okay, so that completely trivializes being a criminal. The stakes are basically zero.
Almost non-existent. You could essentially commit grand larceny, maybe even assault, and then just wait out your sentence while you, I don't know, check your email.
Which kind of incentivizes bad behavior, doesn't it? If stealing is profitable and consequence-free.
Massively incentivizes it.
Yeah.
Especially stealing from shops, just grabbing stuff off displays, looting bookshelves. The alignment hit was often negligible, the potential profit huge. Even a good hero playthrough often involved a lot of casual theft because it was just so easy and useful.
And this lack of consequence leads to some weird gameplay loops, right? You mentioned the landlord thing?
Oh, the landlord loop, yes. This is maybe the most bizarrely evil yet mechanically profitable thing you could do with virtually no lasting downside.
Okay, explain this. How evil are we talking?
We're talking. Walk into a town, murder everyone.
Okay, what? Just kill all the villagers?
Yep. Then, because they're all dead, Their houses become vacant and available for purchase, so you buy up all the homes in the now empty town.
Okay, that's dark. But the guards, the bounty.
Remember, the bounty is temporary and local. You might have to run away and wait it out, but then you come back. You own the town now,
Yeah.
and then you rent out the houses.
You become a slumlord of a ghost town you created via genocide.
Pretty much. And this generates passive income, semi-daily money. The amount depends on how much you upgrade the houses, placing trophies inside them to increase their value.
That is staggering. Mass murder as a path to wealth with no real long-term penalty.
Exactly. The alignment hit could be managed, and the financial reward was significant. A purely good hero would struggle to make that kind of passive income without tedious grinding. The system, maybe unintentionally, heavily rewarded this incredibly dark economic behavior.
So a massive disconnect between the act and the consequence. Does this disconnect extend to the big narrative choices too, like the legendary weapons at the end?
Absolutely. Look at the ultimate moral choice weapons. There's the Sword of Eons. You get this if you take the evil path in the final confrontation, fighting Jack of Blades, and then choosing to kill your sister, Teresa, to claim its power.
Okay, sounds suitably evil. And it's a good weapon.
Yeah, it's a fantastic light weapon. 230 base damage, special augmentations for health, mana, experience gain. Looks cool.
And the good equivalent, if you save your sister.
That's Abo's Tear. You get it by choosing to destroy the Sword of Eons instead, and then meeting these profits. Sounds very virtuous.
And its stats.
Identical. Absolutely identical. 230 damage, same health, mana, experience augmentations.
Wait, seriously? The ultimate good versus evil weapon choice results in mechanically identical weapons.
Yep. The narrative choice is huge, kill your sister or save her, but the game basically says, doesn't matter, here's your functionally identical trophy. The moral distinction is purely cosmetic in terms of the reward.
That feels like a massive anticlimax for the morality system.
It kind of is.
Yeah.
But here's the kicker. The thing that really undermines the whole alignment reward structure even further.
Go on.
Neither the Sword of Eons nor Avo's Tear are actually the best melee weapons in the game. Not even close, if you're optimizing.
Really? What's better than the ultimate good devil artifacts?
A weapon you can just buy in a shop. The Soulless Greatsword.
The shop weapon.
Yep, you can buy it after you complete the arena questline. It has a base attack power of 314.
Yeah.
Compare that to the 230 of the Sword of Eons or Avo's Tear. It's way more powerful.
So the best sword isn't tied to morality at all.
Nope. There's another contender too, the Bereaver. You get that from a tough demon door challenge in the Necropolis, sacrificing all your silver keys. It starts at 285 base damage, but can be augmented further. The point is, the actual best weapons are alignment neutral.
Why would they do that? Make the ultimate moral rewards weaker than something you can just buy or find.
It suggests that maybe player power, optimization, and just letting people get the strongest stuff often trumped maintaining the strict integrity of the Good Devil reward system.
But wasn't there a case where the evil path did give a clearly superior reward? You mentioned archers.
Yes. Scorm's bow, that's the big exception. This is, hands down, the most powerful bow in the entire game.
And how do you get it?
Pure evil. You have to sacrifice innocent people at the Chapel of Scorm, specifically at the stroke of midnight, to get the maximum evil points needed for the bow to be offered.
Okay, that sounds suitably nasty. And it's really good.
It's amazing. 264 base attack power, plus it comes with built-in lightning and sharpening augmentations. Just a powerhouse.
And the good equivalent bow.
That would be the Master Longbow. Its base attack is only 180. It does have 3 empty augmentation slots so you can customize it, but it just can't match the raw power of Scorm's bow without a huge investment.
So in that specific case, being evil gives you a clear mechanical advantage.
Absolutely. If you wanted to be the most powerful archer, the optimal path was the evil path, purely for Scorm's bow. It creates this weird incentive for archer characters to embrace evil just for the stats.
So the whole system feels inconsistent. Sometimes evil pays better, sometimes morality doesn't matter for the best gear, and crime is basically free.
Exactly. That's the paradox of choice in Fable. You have the illusion of deep consequence, and the choices definitely change your appearance and immediate outcomes, like maybe saving someone or killing them, but the long-term impact on the narrative or your character's ultimate power level and relevance, often minimal. It feels more like a railroad with different paint jobs sometimes.
Okay, so the mechanical consequences of morality might have been a bit shaky, maybe even illusory, but what about the story itself? Did the main narrative manage to build tension and raise the stakes effectively?
Oh, absolutely. Despite the gameplay quirks, the actual storyline, especially regarding the hero's family and the betrayals involved, is really quite masterful at creating emotional investment and, yeah, raising the stakes significantly.
It really kicks off with learning about your family history, doesn't it? The whole Archon bloodline thing.
That's the key. Finding out you're descended from the Archons, this ancient, powerful bloodline that immediately elevates the story. It's not just a generic hero's journey anymore. It's about destiny. Because only an Archon can properly wield the Sword of Eons.
And then you learn the specifics about your family. About Oakvale, your mother, Scarlet Robe.
Right. Scarlet Robe, this famous hero forced into hiding. And the villain, Jack of Blades, wasn't just some random bad guy. He was directly responsible for the attack on your home village, Oakvale.
Making it personal.
Deeply personal. Especially when your sister, Teresa, who survived the attack but was blinded, reveals the horrifying truth. Jack tortured their mother, trying to find the hero's location, and then, well, he cut out Teresa's eyes when she wouldn't talk.
Jeez. Okay, yeah, that definitely raises the stakes. It becomes about inherited trauma, revenge, protecting what's left of your family.
Exactly. But the tension for me peaks not with the main villain, but with a betrayal from someone close. Maze.
Your mentor from the Heroes Guild, he betrays you.
He does. Right near the end of the original game story, he traps both the hero and Teresa, handing them over to Jack of Blades. It's brutal because he was guiding you the whole time.
Why does he do it? Power, greed.
That's what makes it interesting. It's not really for power in the traditional sense. His motivation is much more human, almost pathetic. It's fear, cowardice.
Fear of what?
Fear of death. He has this cynical belief that the only quest truly worth pursuing in life is finding a way to escape death, to achieve immortality. And he thinks aligning with Jack, who seems immortal, is his best chance.
Wow, that's a much more nuanced motivation than just, I'm evil. It's self-preservation taken to an extreme, betraying everything for it.
Exactly. It adds this layer of complexity and makes the betrayal hit harder. And his end is fittingly bleak.
What happens to him?
You confront him, defeat him in front of this iconic lighthouse. And as he dies, his soul doesn't just fade. It screams in terror as it dissipates, proving his whole quest, his betrayal, was ultimately for nothing. He didn't escape death.
That's potent. It sets a grim, high-stakes tone for the final confrontation with Jack.
Definitely. And the original game more or less ends there. But then the Lost Chapters expansion picks right up and immediately ramps the stakes even higher.
How so? Jack's defeated, isn't he?
Well, seemingly. But the Lost Chapters reveals he's effectively immortal because his soul is tied to his mask. He resurrects himself. So the stakes instantly become universal again, stopping this ancient, seemingly unkillable evil.
So what's the new mission in the expansion?
Jack has come back, stronger, activating these ancient summoners. He needs the Archon bloodline you to fully manifest his power. So the hero has to travel to the northern wastes, find this thing called the Fireheart, and awaken the ancient Snowspire Oracle to figure out how to defeat Jack for good.
An oracle. Very classic fantasy. What does the oracle reveal?
The Oracle confirms Jack has taken a new, powerful form, a massive dragon. And to even reach him, you need to open the ancient bronze gate. But the gate requires a key, the Soul Mask.
Jack's mask.
No, a different ancient mask. This one needs to be powered by 3 incredibly potent souls. The soul of a king, the soul of a heroine, and the soul of the oldest soul.
Ah, okay, so this sets up the final act as a quest for these 3 souls.
Exactly, and this is where the expansion tries to inject some genuine high-stakes moral choices back into the gameplay loop. For each soul, there's an easy evil path and a harder good path.
Let's break those down. What are the choices for the king's soul?
The quick evil way, just kill Thunder. He's a rival hero, powerful, considered a king among warriors. Simple, direct, the good path. You have to go back to the arena and fight through a tough gauntlet challenge to prove your virtue and earn the right to claim a worthy soul. More effort.
Okay, and the heroine soul?
Evil path, kill Briar Rose. She's another living legendary warrior hero. Again, direct confrontation. The good path is more involved. You have to go to your mother Scarlet Robe's grave, fight off these high-level undead monsters called Screamers, and then commune with her spirit to willingly accept her soul. More complex, more emotional.
Right, taking your own mother's soul, even willingly. And the oldest soul?
The easy evil. Kill a guild master. He's old, terrified, trying to protect himself. It kind of echoes Maze's cowardice theme, the virtuous path. You have to find this ancient, undead warrior named Nostro and defeat him in a specific, honorable combat trial to earn his soul peacefully. Again, requires more effort, more specific steps.
So in each case, the evil option seems more direct, maybe quicker, less fuss.
Generally, yes. The tension is supposed to come from resisting that easier, darker path and choosing the more involved, virtuous route. It's the game's last real attempt to tie significant choices to the main quest progression.
And wasn't there another little lore nod here? Something about a certain mythical creature?
Yes. Even in this high-stakes moment, the Oracle casually mentions the sand goose again.
Still not real.
Still not real. Confirms it was just lore created by historians misinterpreting fossils. It's a funny little meta moment, the game winking at its own development history and those wild early promises. #tag V. The final choice, and the mask. Okay, so you've gathered the 3 souls, powered up the soul mask, opened the bronze gate. You finally reach Jack of Blades in his new dragon form at Archon's Folly. The tension is maxed out, fate of Albion, all that.
The big finale. After you defeat the dragon form, what happens?
Jack's physical form is destroyed, but his mask, the real source of his power, the one he wears, falls to the ground. And this sets up the absolute final choice of the game, the ultimate test of Fable's promise of meaningful consequence.
What's the choice?
Scythe, the ancient hero who's been guiding you through the expansion, appears. He urges you, practically begs you, to destroy the mask immediately. Throw it into the nearby lava pit.
Why?
Because Jack's spirit, his essence, resides within the mask. Destroying it is the only way to banish him forever. This also ties into that cool lore theory that Jack of Blades isn't one single immortal guy.
Right, but more like a title or a curse. A mantle passed down through the mask, possessing whoever wears it. Kind of like the gray fox in Oblivion.
Exactly like that.
Yeah.
So Scythe is saying, destroy the curse now.
So the choice is, listen to Scythe and destroy the mask, saving Albion, or...
Put the mask on yourself.
Whoa, become the new Jack of Blades.
That's the ultimate evil option. So what happens if you actually do it, if you choose eternal evil?
Yeah, what are the mechanical consequences of putting on the mask?
Okay, if you wear the mask, you get permanent maximum evil alignment instantly. Your armor rating gets a nice buff. But interestingly, your attractiveness stat completely tanks. Nobody finds the mask appealing, apparently. Your scariness stat, however, goes through the roof.
And narratively?
Narratively, you hear Jack's voice whispering, taking over. You become the new vessel for Jack of Blades. It's effectively a non-standard bad end for your character. You're not really you anymore.
Okay, pretty significant narrative consequence. And the good ending, destroying the mask.
You throw it in the lava, Jack's spirit screams, he's permanently banished, Albion is saved. That's the canonical good ending.
But here's the crucial question, the one we've been building towards. Does this monumental choice, wear the mask and become evil incarnate, or destroy it and save the world, have any truly significant long-term mechanical impact on the game afterward?
And this is the core of the critique, right? The answer is not really.
Seriously, even that choice.
Even that one. Obviously, wearing the mask locks you into evil alignment and changes those few stats. But does it fundamentally hinder you? Does it lock you out of content? Does destroying it give you some amazing, unique reward that wearing it denies you? No.
So, whether you made the ultimate good choice or the ultimate evil choice, you can still pretty much play the rest of the game, explore, do quests, be incredibly powerful. Either way.
Pretty much. The game delivers this huge narrative climax, this massive moral decision, but then it kind of shrugs mechanically and lets you keep playing in its sandbox world. It maintains that feeling of player agency, that sort of God simulator power, regardless of which path you took in the very end.
It doesn't really punish you for being the ultimate evil beyond the narrative flavor.
Not in a way that significantly limits your ability to engage with the game's systems or world. It seems a priority remained on keeping that toy world accessible and fun, whether you ended up with horns from the mask or a halo from destroying it. The consequence was primarily narrative and aesthetic, not deeply mechanical.
So looking back, it really seems like Fable was just comfortable with that trade-off, prioritizing player fun, experimentation, that immediate gratification, over enforcing strict consequences for moral choices.
I think that has to be seen as a conscious design choice, yeah?
Yeah.
They wanted you to be able to become that ultimate hero, visually and power-wise, regardless of your alignment path, whether you got there via Scorm's bow and murder or Avo's tear and virtue. The end seed of power was achievable.
The freedom to be good, bad, or just plain ridiculous, that was maybe the real magic, even if the consequences weren't always what was promised.
Exactly. Even if the choices felt a bit illusory under the hood, the sheer joy of experimenting, of seeing your hero physically change, of discovering those exploits, that was undeniably compelling. Hashtag tag outro.
So wrapping up this deep dive, it feels like the essence of Fable. The Lost Chapters really lies in its, well, it's a zany, chaotic, charming experimentation. It was an action RPG that absolutely gave you permission to be powerful, to be customized, and yeah, sometimes to be utterly ridiculous.
Kick chickens for points.
Right. Marvel at how quickly your hero got buffered or taller, become a surprisingly wealthy mass-murdering landlord, all with fairly minimal systemic pushback.
Yeah. And despite those illusory choices we discussed, and definitely despite the unfulfilled, high-flying promises from Peter Molyneux back in the day, Fable absolutely delivered on a core promise: the promise of discovery and a sense of real freedom within its fantasy world.
The magic wasn't really in the long-term narrative consequences, maybe, but more in that immediate feedback loop.
I think so. The freedom to just play, to experiment, to see those choices reflected instantly on your character's body horns, halo, scars, muscles, glowing runes. That's what drove the initial curiosity and excitement for so many people.
It created a truly memorable, personalized hero, even if the world around that hero didn't always react with the depth or permanence we might have initially expected.
Definitely. So we'll leave you, the listener, with maybe a provocative question to chew on from all this.
Oh.
If a game like Fable offers these huge, monumental moral choices, literally, save the world or doom your soul by wearing the mask, but provides no significant lasting mechanical consequence that actually impedes your fun or progress, is the truly meaningful choice.
Yeah.
Then, purely internal, is the real consequence simply defined by the character you, the player, chose to become in your own head, regardless of whether the game itself fully enforces it? Horns, halo, ridiculous chin beard, or otherwise.